He laughed. I'm not joking, my husband actually laughed while signing our divorce papers. As if it were some joke. As if he was the one winning. I watched him smirk, sign with a dramatic flourish, then lean back in his chair like he'd just won the lottery. But he had no idea what was coming. Because when the judge read my net worth out loud, the entire courtroom went silent. His jaw hit the floor. And me? For the first time in a long time, I smiled. Let me take you back. I want to tell you everything. I'm Sarah. And for the longest time, I was invisible in my own marriage. You see, I used to think that love meant sacrifice. That giving everything you had to another person was noble. That if you just tried hard enough, they'd see your worth. I met Daniel when I was 26. Bright-eyed. Dreaming. I had just started freelancing in graphic design. He was charming. Confident. He had big dreams, or so he said. We talked about starting a family, building a business together, traveling the world. All the fantasy stuff. Except, somewhere along the way, I realized I was the only one building. He quit his job 6 months into our marriage. Said he wanted to be an entrepreneur. I supported him. I paid our rent while he jumped from one get-rich-quick scheme to the next. Real estate. Crypto. Online stores. Amazon FBA. Drop shipping. He tried everything, and failed at all of them. Every time I questioned him, I was told I wasn't supportive. That I was negative. That I didn't believe in him. So, I stayed quiet. I worked longer hours. Took more freelance gigs. Spent my weekends learning skills, SEO, web design, branding, social media ads. He played video games while I built a business. He slept till noon while I took client calls from Europe at 6 a.m. He spent our money on gadgets and new clothes while I saved every penny I could. But here's what really broke me. One night, I walked past our living room and overheard him on the phone with a friend. I'll never forget what he said. Sarah? She's boring now. All she does is work. I'm just waiting to get my name on the house, then I'm done. I stood there, frozen. My heart sank. And something inside me snapped. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just shut down. That night, I created a plan. I quietly formed an LLC, Monroe Media Holdings. I moved all my freelance contracts under the new business. I opened a separate bank account. I got a lawyer. I bought a rental property under my business's name. Then a second. Then a third. Daniel didn't notice. He never asked. He thought I was still working for scraps. I started getting high-profile clients. A small fashion brand. A travel influencer. Then a corporate tech company that paid more in one project than he'd earned in a year. I was hitting 6 figures, then multiple 6 figures. Meanwhile, he bragged to his friends that he'd be rich once the divorce went through and he got his cut. So when he finally handed me divorce papers, I smiled. He thought it was his move. He walked into court like a man about to collect his prize. Said he wanted half of everything, including our house. But you see, everything wasn't in my name. We sat in court. The judge reviewed our documents. Daniel puffed up his chest like a rooster. Then the judge cleared his throat. Mrs. Monroe, is it correct that you own Monroe Media Holdings LLC, registered 3 years ago? Yes, Your Honor. And the business owns 3 properties, generates annual revenue of $870,000, and has total assets exceeding $2.4 million? I nodded. Calmly. Daniel's eyes bulged. What? That's not possible, he shouted. She was just doing little design jobs. The judge raised an eyebrow. Mr. Monroe, do you have evidence that you contributed to the business or that it was a marital asset? He stammered. He had nothing. Because while he was dreaming about fast money, I was building something real and legal. My lawyer leaned over and whispered, he's got no case. The house? I had refinanced it under my business. The car? Owned by the LLC. All legally structured before the divorce. The only thing he left with was a box of clothes and an expired Xbox. After court, he followed me to the parking lot. Why didn't you tell me? I turned and looked him dead in the eye. Because you never cared enough to ask. He tried to apologize. Tried to say we could start over. I smiled, the same smile I wore in court. Daniel, you laughed when you thought I was nothing. Now laugh while walking away with nothing. I got in my car. Drove off. And never looked back. But that's not the end. What happened next is what truly defined my life. After the divorce, something incredible happened. I felt free. Like a fog had lifted. I poured myself into my work, but not from a place of fear or survival anymore. From a place of purpose. I started mentoring other women. I launched a digital course teaching freelancers how to protect their assets. I was invited to speak at an entrepreneurial summit in San Francisco. For the first time, people saw me not just as a designer, but as a leader. One woman I mentored went on to build her own agency. Another launched a brand that's now in retail stores. And the messages I get, the DMs, the emails, they make me cry sometimes. Because I remember what it felt like to be invisible. And now, I'm helping others become unmissable. As for Daniel, he moved in with a friend. Tried to start another business. I heard it failed. Last I saw, he was posting motivational quotes on Instagram with captions like "Success is the best revenge." Funny. I used to think that too. But I've learned something deeper. Success isn't about revenge. It's about freedom. It's about walking away from people who never saw your light and shining anyway. It's about building something no one can take from you. If you're listening to this and you've ever felt overlooked, I see you. If you've ever stayed quiet to keep the peace, I hear you. And if you're quietly building your empire behind closed doors, keep going. The day will come when you won't have to explain yourself. Because your work, your power, will speak louder than any words. And when that day comes, smile. Let them remember how they laughed. And then watch them choke on their silence. This is more than a story about divorce. It's a story about reclaiming your worth. And if it resonated with you, here's what I want you to do. Like this video right now to support the message. It helps more people hear it. Comment the words "unseen power" if you're building something silently and strategically. And share this with one friend who's been doubting themselves. Who needs to be reminded their comeback is already in motion. I'm Sarah. And this was my story. But maybe it's yours too.